vibes. You talk about this being a global sport. How about the Filipino fans? For Alex Eala has become an absolute phenomenon on the courts. Here's an early Verizon Vantage point on TC Live. Everywhere she goes, she gets swarmed by her fans.
Welcome back, sports fans and tennis enthusiasts from around the globe, because today we are about to embark on a journey that goes far beyond scores, rankings, or even the traditional narratives of professional tennis. This is a story that encompasses not only the meteoric rise of a young athlete but also the cultural, social, and psychological dimensions of sports in the modern world. It is a story of Alexandra Eala, a 20-year-old Filipina prodigy who has captured the hearts and imaginations of millions, both in her home country of the Philippines and across the global tennis community, and whose recent exploits at the 2026 BNP Paribas Open have left even seasoned veterans and tournament organizers in a state of shock and awe. Alexandra Eala is not just another player on the WTA Tour. She is a phenomenon, an unprecedented force whose presence on and off the court is causing the traditional structures of tennis to adapt, rethink, and, in many ways, scramble to keep up with her rapidly accelerating trajectory. Born and raised in Quezon City, Philippines, Eala's journey to the upper echelons of professional tennis began in the bustling streets and local courts of her home city, where she first picked up a racket at the age of 5, inspired by the stories of international tennis stars and driven by a unique combination of raw talent, discipline, and a relentless work ethic that would later define her professional career. Unlike many of her contemporaries, Eala's early years were marked by a deep integration of local culture and community support, which instilled in her a sense of pride and responsibility that went far beyond personal achievement. From the outset, her family recognized that her gifts were extraordinary, and they made sacrifices that would allow her to pursue tennis at the highest level, relocating her temporarily to training academies in Spain and later in other parts of Europe to ensure that she received world-class coaching and exposure to international competition, all while maintaining her connection to the Philippines, which remained central to her identity and her drive. Over the years, Eala honed her skills under rigorous coaching regimens that focused not only on technique but also on mental toughness, strategic understanding of the game, and adaptability, learning to read opponents' tendencies, anticipate movement patterns, and execute a wide variety of shots under high-pressure situations, a skill set that would later allow her to navigate the unique challenges of top-level tournaments with a composure and tactical intelligence that belie her age. Her left-handed play, already a natural advantage, became a signature aspect of her style, enabling her to generate spin and angles that routinely disrupted her opponent's rhythm, while her formidable forehand and agile court coverage became weapons that allowed her to dictate the pace of rallies and turn defensive situations into offensive opportunities with fluidity and precision. By the time Eala had entered the professional circuit in her mid-teens, her rise was meteoric. She quickly began to accumulate wins, earning her a reputation not just as a talented youngster but as a player whose maturity on the court matched her technical abilities. Her breakthrough came when she started participating in ITF and WTA 125 events across Asia and Europe, steadily improving her ranking while simultaneously cultivating a fan base that would later become central to the phenomenon now known as the ELA effect. These early experiences also taught her valuable lessons about the logistical and psychological demands of professional tennis. The long flights across continents, the adjustment to varying climates and court surfaces, and the discipline required to maintain peak physical and mental condition despite a constantly shifting schedule. By the time she reached the age of 20, Eala had achieved a career-high ranking of world number 31, an extraordinary feat that positioned her as the highest-ranked Filipina player in history, a milestone that carried enormous symbolic weight for her country and inspired a generation of young athletes in the Philippines to pursue tennis with renewed ambition and hope. Her rise coincided with a growing awareness among tennis administrators and media executives that she was no ordinary player, that her presence generated unprecedented levels of fan engagement, social media activity, and cultural resonance, which meant that every match she played was not only a sporting contest but also a national event, a celebration of talent, identity, and determination on a global stage. The 2026 BNP Paribas Open, held annually in the sun-drenched Coachella Valley at Indian Wells, California, presented the perfect stage for Eala to showcase her abilities and for the world to witness the full scope of her impact. Universally regarded as the fifth Grand Slam, due to the caliber of participants and the intensity of competition, the Indian Wells tournament has historically been dominated by long-established stars, titans of the sport who have navigated the professional circuit for years, often decades. The courts themselves are challenging, slow, gritty surfaces that reward heavy topspin and strategic point construction, high-bouncing balls that can disrupt timing and rhythm, and the dry desert air that adds a taxing physical element to every rally. Each year, the tournament attracts the world's best players, all seeking to test themselves against the field in conditions that are both unforgiving and revealing of true skill and endurance. For Eala, Indian Wells was more than just another event on the calendar. It was an opportunity to assert herself against the top tier of global competition, to validate years of preparation, and to demonstrate the depth of her skill in a high-stakes environment. Thanks to her ranking, she earned a seeded position at the WTA 1000 event, which provided a first-round bye and allowed her to bypass the early chaos of the tournament, entering directly into the second round, where the level of competition would immediately rise to the formidable challenges posed by experienced players such as China's Zhang Shui and Ukraine's Diana Yastrika, each presenting a unique tactical puzzle that Eala would have to solve through a combination of physical ability, strategic foresight, and psychological composure. But what truly catapulted Eala into global consciousness was not only her performance on the court but the viral interview conducted by TJ Manotoc and Steve Angeles, two of the most respected figures in Filipino sports journalism, whose understanding of the cultural and emotional weight carried by Eala enabled them to capture a moment that transcended ordinary reporting. During the interview, Eala spoke with a maturity and clarity that belied her years, articulating her goals, reflecting on her preparation, and acknowledging the immense responsibility she felt as a representative of her country, all while remaining poised, confident, and unflappable in the face of overwhelming attention and scrutiny. The interview was accompanied by a visual spectacle that magnified its impact: the California sun beating down on the courts, a microphone held steadily by Manotoc, the camera capturing every nuance of Eala's expression, and behind her, a sea of supporters chanting her name, their energy reverberating like the roar of a championship crowd in a much larger arena. This was not a polite tennis applause. This was a demonstration of the ELA effect in full bloom, a phenomenon in which the presence of a single player generates a gravitational pull of excitement, pride, and communal enthusiasm that affects everyone in the venue, from opponents and officials to casual spectators and global audiences watching online. Journalists on the ground, including Chris Otto, reported that the crowd was so immense that tournament staff were taken aback, and Otto himself described Eala as one of tennis' most delightfully unkempt secrets, noting that her game is electric, her personality engaging, and her fan base unmatched in passion and intensity. Every detail, from her tactical execution to her interaction with fans and media, was magnified by the sheer scale of attention, creating a perfect storm that would leave lasting impressions on the tournament and the sport at large. Eala's game itself is a marvel of preparation and adaptability. Her left-handed forehand generates spin and angles that consistently pull opponents off the court, her defensive coverage allows her to extend rallies and induce errors, and her serve has evolved into a weapon capable of securing free points and controlling play. Physically, she is at the peak of conditioning. Her cardiovascular endurance, explosive footwork, and core strength allow her to withstand long rallies under harsh desert conditions, while her mental fortitude ensures that she remains composed, analytical, and proactive under pressure. The combination of these factors makes her a formidable opponent, one whose potential victories are not merely plausible but increasingly probable, and whose presence alters the dynamics of the tournament in subtle yet profound ways, influencing the strategy, psychology, and preparation of every player she faces. Beyond the court, the significance of Eala's rise is deeply cultural. In a sport historically dominated by players from certain regions, her ascent represents a breakthrough in representation, offering a powerful narrative that talent, determination, and preparation can overcome systemic and geographic barriers. Her fan base, both domestic and international, has become a driving force that not only amplifies her presence but also challenges traditional perceptions of where elite tennis players come from and what they can achieve. This cultural resonance is further amplified by media figures like Manotoc and Angeles, who contextualize her achievements, articulate the stakes, and translate the nuances of her journey for audiences worldwide, creating a shared understanding of why this young athlete's story is exceptional, both on and off the court. The impact of Eala's presence extends to the economics of the sport as well. Tournament directors, sponsors, and media outlets recognize the commercial and promotional value of a player who draws unprecedented attention, ticket sales, and social media engagement, turning matches into events and practice sessions into spectacles, and ensuring that every movement she makes on the court reverberates through both the tennis establishment and the broader public consciousness. Her viral interview was not just a moment of personal reflection. It was a public demonstration of her readiness, skill, and capacity to carry the expectations of millions while remaining singularly focused on her craft, a statement that elevated her from promising talent to fully realized global phenomenon. Looking ahead, the stakes could not be higher. Eala's second-round match, whether against Zhang Shui or Diana Yastrika, represents not only a tactical challenge but a continuation of the narrative she has been building. The story of a young athlete who refuses to be constrained by history, expectations, or precedent, who embraces pressure and spectacle as fuel for her performance, and who continues to redefine what is possible for herself, her country, and the sport of tennis as a whole. The BNP Paribas Open is now more than a tournament. It is a theater in which Eala's talents, preparation, and charisma converge, creating an immersive experience for all who witness it and setting the stage for potential triumphs that could reverberate through the remainder of the season and beyond. In sum, Alexandra Eala's emergence at Indian Wells is a multidimensional story of athletic prowess, cultural representation, media mastery, and psychological influence. The viral interview captured by Manotoc and Angeles crystallizes this moment in history, presenting a young athlete fully aware of her abilities, prepared for the challenges ahead, and capable of inspiring a global audience. The ELA effect is real, measurable, and transformative, turning standard tennis events into phenomena, redefining audience expectations, and compelling the sports institutions to adapt to a new reality in which a 20-year-old Filipina holds the attention, admiration, and influence once reserved for the most established superstars of the game.